Like Aiden Hutchinson, Jameson Williams is a first-round pick from 2022 who has yet to get a second contract, but he has yet to fully prove himself worthy of a second contract, and it's probably better for him to wait because what he'd get now versus what he'd get a year from now,
right?
Probably two very different things if he can continue his current upward trajectory. Here's John Morton from how Jameson Williams has been so far in the offseason program.
The last time you were here, Jameson was a rookie. He was rehabbing, spent not too much time on the field. What are your first impressions of him since you've been back in the building and working with him?
Unbelievable. Just unbelievable. When I first got here and he came in to see me and we had a chat, and this is how I'm painted a picture. This is what you need to do. This is how I see it. He has been unbelievable. Unbelievable. In the meetings, attention to detail. I mean, I'm so excited and to see him this year. It's going to be a breakout year for him. So I can't wait. I just can't wait, man.
It's weird to think of the term breakout for somebody that's had 1,000 receiving yards, but it was like the quietest 1,000 receiving yards you can imagine because it felt like we see him in flashes and blurs, and they never have embraced what he could be. And it's the problem of having one football and having St. Brown, Laporta, David Montgomery, Gibbs, and Williams. There's only so much you're going to get, and you look at Gibbs and Jameson Williams, they both could be superstars in the right setting. So breakout year, I don't know what breakout means. Is that 1,500? I don't know. He had 1,000 last year. Just over 1,000, 1,001, 7 touchdowns, 58 catches. We saw that great play that he had in the playoff loss, the long run. It's like anytime he gets the ball in his hands, he can take it all the way. It's incredible. It's phenomenal.
Yeah, he's one of those. He's one of those guys. He is. And I mean, 58 receptions at over 1,000 yards. I mean, that says it itself. Over 17 yards per reception, and you see here, I mean, again, that's Devin Witherspoon he's running by, and he's just jogging and, see you later. I mean, he is arguably the most explosive receiver in football. He is up there with anybody as far as just pure explosiveness. Jamar Chase, Tyreek Hill, any of those. He can run with any of them. He can run by anybody. There's the reverse you talk about. We saw it in the NFC Championship game against the 49ers 2 years ago where he broke a long one and everyone was like, whoa, 3 rockets up his ass. See you later. Right? And I think what they're looking at is going, hey, last year we just had them hey, run the post, run the go route, run the deep curl because they think you're going to run the post. So then you hit the brakes. I think what Johnny Morton's telling you is that you're going to see a more variety of ways in which they get the ball to him. Right? They're going to go, hey, let's stop trying to just throw the bombs to him. How about some of these little other underneath routes? He's really good at those. How about we throw it to him for 5 and he can still go run for another 40? He'll be able to do that too. And I think he's gotten to a spot now where he's in the trust tree with the Detroit Lions, right? He's matured. The talent's always been there. He had to get over a bad injury that he had in the national championship game against Georgia. Had to learn to be a pro a little bit, but we saw that kind of all come to a pinnacle last year. And, yeah, he'd be one of those guys that I would expect to absolutely take off this year and be in the conversation for one of the better receivers in the league.
Maturity has been one of the issues for Jameson Williams. He's had a couple of suspensions. Now, one was under that ridiculous NFL gambling policy where if you're standing out on the street, you can use your phone to place wagers on other sports, but if you stray inside the front door to the facility, thou shalt be suspended. That was ridiculous, and he had his 6-game suspension reduced to 4. But there have just been these flashes, and he's gotten in trouble for some of his antics after he scores. And it just occurred to me, we don't need to play it, but the thing he did after scoring the touchdown against the Commanders, maybe he is like a guy who can see the future, and he was just doing what he knew Dan Campbell was going to do to that beanbag. Maybe that's all that was.
I was like, wait, I can't remember the celebration. But then when you said Dan Campbell and the beanbag, I did remember. Yes.
Yes.
He decided to have an intimate moment with the ground after he scored a touchdown there. I mean, but I hear you. And listen, he's a guy that I think you're going to see more meat and potatoes of the offense. And that combination I mean, that combination of Jahmyr Gibbs at running back and him at receiver, and then you got a guy like Amon-Ra St. Brown who can do everything. I mean, that's a three-weapon package there that you'd kind of put with anybody. Jameson Williams and Jahmyr Gibbs, just as far as pure explosive ability, I mean, it's hard to come up with a package or a duo in the NFL where I'd go, wait, they got a receiver that explosive and a running back that explosive? So they can really put you in a bind there with the short passing game, the running game, get you to creep up. Jahmyr Gibbs is good at that. And then it's see you later, Jameson Williams. I mean, it's a special combination of things they got there in that offense, and they can just attack you so many ways. And then that's where I go back to Johnny Morton and go, yeah, he's learned from Ben Johnson. He's going to know how to do that. And guys like John Gruden and Sean Payton, who he's learned from as well, they're very good at knowing how to feature certain players and stars on their team. And I think he's got that in his roots, and I think we'll see that this year.
Big challenge is going to be morale, keeping everybody happy.
That's right.
Keeping everybody happy. Because basic reality, if you're winning every week, that's the best way to keep anyone from popping off. When you stop winning every week, that's when guys start to connect. I'm not getting the ball as much as I'd like. If I was getting the ball as much as I like, we'd be winning.
Right.
It's a very simple logic that is often highly flawed, but we've seen it time and again. With Odell Beckham Jr., that's the first guy that comes to mind. He's the ultimate, if you would just throw the ball to me all the time, we would never lose. And look, you don't throw it to me enough, and we lose. And I don't like losing. But I think that frustration that we see, the helmet into the kicking net, and then kicking net going back into his face, all that stuff, the sideline antics, it's a way to channel the frustration you have for not getting the ball. You want the ball, and if you're not getting the ball and you're losing, it all gets jumbled together. We're losing because I'm not getting the ball. That's the biggest challenge, I think, for John Morton if the Lions don't run roughshod over this much tougher schedule they're going to have in 2025.
No, I think that's where Ben Johnson was magical. And even in that, you know, whether they won or lost, right, guys, everybody touched the ball. And I think that was kind of the beauty of his trick plays too. The trick plays were great, easy ways to get a guy's stats, you know, in an easy way. Hey, he's wide open. Okay, we got one catch. He got 40 yards. Damn, he's going to be happy for a little while. That was a cool play. We talked about it all week. Yeah, that kind of, you know, he got a little fulfillment in his appetite there with that. And that's the challenge that Johnny Morton's going to have here, right? This isn't like John Gruden or Sean Payton who had Michael Thomas, where it's like, wait, I'm going to feature him and just do everything off of him and make people start to defend where I move him around, and that'll open up other things. This is more a more delicate, I think more, you know, detailed way and going to be more intricate as far as how he does it. Because, yeah, you can't just give one guy. It's got to be spread out, and you got to make sure you're aware of that, and that can be tough and stressful on an offensive coordinator.
I'd never really thought of this. Maybe I have, and I've just forgotten. But the beauty of having trick plays in the game plan most weeks, it gives the guy who's going to be involved in it something to look forward to.
Definitely.
Something to be excited about. And they're less inclined to be obsessed over how many targets am I going to get? How many touches am I going to get? How many opportunities am I going to have to do my thing? You're so smitten with the idea, oh, just wait till they see this,
right,
that becomes your focal point, and it's a positive thing, not the potentially negative, am I going to get the ball enough times to satisfy my own pride and ego this weekend?
Yeah, no, I think it's exciting for the team, right? It's exciting for the team. It's exciting to practice it. It's exciting to talk about it in team meetings, right? Everybody gets a little giggle like, oh my gosh, this is going to be amazing, right? The players might get on the coach a little bit like, you don't got the guts to call it this week. You won't. then the coach comes in maybe on a Friday or Saturday morning and he goes, hey, I'm calling these 2 trick plays this week. And that just gets positive vibes and mojo going that, hey, we're attacking. Everybody's going to get the ball, like you said. And that guy that does is the benefactor of the trick plays, yeah, he's sitting there going, oh, man, I'm going to have my moment. And that makes him happy even if he doesn't get the ball in the first 2 quarters of the football game. You're definitely right about that, Mike.
Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.